Hey everybody, it's Jason with the Board Game Mechanics, and today we're going to take a look at a game called Hanafuda, or Koi Koi. Hanafuda is a game, at least this version, published by Pencil First Games, designed by, I don't even have any idea. This is an old Japanese game. What's it say on here? Yeah, it just has solo design for Bruno Catala. This is just an old game that's from Japan. But this version is from Pencil First, has some awesome Vincent Dutrait art, which we'll get into in a little bit. And in this game, what you're trying to do is you're trying to basically match sets of these card tiles. I say card tiles because they look like tiles, shape, size, but they're also, you're going to hold them in your hand like cards. So card tiles. And you're trying to match different types of these cards to score points. There's 48 cards, 4 cards per month, 12 months. You're basically playing a match game of sorts, trying to maybe push your luck a little bit and do all that stuff. So normally here there would be a video how to play kind of thing going on, but that's in a separate video. If you want to check that out, you can go down in the video description and click that, see how to play the game, see if it's a game that you would be interested in. So without much further ado, let's take a look at the components. All right, so this is something that we backed on Kickstarter when we backed the expansion for the Hunter-Tori, which we haven't played yet, boo. Mostly because Katie loves this game. She learned it from her grandma, who's from Japan. And she's been playing this old busted up copy that we have where it has like this yokai card that we had to replace something in because it got lost. So we saw this one. We saw Vincent Dutrait and we're like, man, we got to have that because look at this box is fantastic. Look at that. That's gorgeous. I mean, Vincent Dutrait is a master of his craft. So we got this game, and let me show you some of these cards. There are some issues, and I'll try to find those issues. Yep, there's one right there. But let's look at some of these cards, because these cards are beautiful. This is my favorite suit, and this is the month of April, I believe. It's wisteria, the wisteria tree. Look at this. These are gorgeous. That is some fantastic art right there. Vincent Dutrait knocked it out of the park. It's a beautiful goose, I think. A butterfly. It's fantastic looking. This phoenix, I don't remember there being a phoenix in other versions. Is amazing. This crane, I think it's a crane. I don't know what it is. Big bird. Awesome. Even just these leaves here, gorgeous. The card art on this, I could not ask for better art. Some of the tiles, I don't know if you can see that, but there are little characters on there, guests. That's actually from some of the variants, which we'll talk about in a little bit because there's a lot of variants you can play. Just fantastic art. This November bright, so cool. So fantastic art. The art, the box has a divider. Even on the back of the box, there's some cool card art. This page is fantastic. Shows you what cards go with which month so you can get used to looking at them. Tells you how everything scores, which is great. Rule book, which is nice because a lot of the versions, which I'll show you in a little bit, do not come with a rule book. This gives you some overview of the game. It gives you how to play it, all the stuff that you can do. Scoring examples, fantastic. Even in this one comes with a bunch of an addendum, which is Suiki. I don't know how to say that, but this has a bunch of alternate variants. So you can use those villagers that I was talking about. If I can find another one. A card that has villagers. So like you're trying to collect more sets of those cards that have villagers in them. That's one of the things. You can play a solo mode. You can do Rain Ruins the Party. If either opponent has captured a November card, then their viewing sets are worth 0 points. So you're trying to stay away from November. I've only played the solo version of this. I haven't tried any of the other stuff, but a whole book of alternates. That's fantastic. Now, let's talk about the one issue I have with the components. Let me find that card again. Okay, so if you look at these tiles, I don't know how well you can see this on the camera, but If you look at these tiles, it's like black tape folded over the picture. If you look up here, you can see the tape is peeling off. And this makes it really hard to shuffle and mix around because it keeps getting stuck on other cards. You'll be pulling stuff off the top and it falls apart. I don't love that. I know this is the traditional way that these cards are made. At least I think that's accurate. I don't know that for sure, but our old and busted set that we got from Katie's grandma, who bought it from Japan, is like this. But there's way too many of these cards that have that issue. Here's another one. Look how terrible that top looks. It's like ripping up. Here's another one. It's a bright. So again, you're going to know which cards have these problems if you're keeping track of that. And I do not love this. This was, I think, $30 added onto the Kickstarter. And for that kind of money and to have all the other production be flawless, but not be able to keep this tape down, seems like a real missed opportunity to me. And I do not love it. Now, to go along with this components, I wanted to show you another set that we have. And these are the tiles that we've played with the most. This has the old art, the classic art. This is just like Katie's grandma's old and busted set that has that same tape issue. But these are all plastic. Same suits, they're just different art. But these are not going to peel off. So when I play this game now, I'm going to be playing with these cards because they're going to be easy to shuffle. They're going to be easy to mix around, hold in my hand. And I now cannot play those other cards because they're harder to shuffle and it becomes a hindrance to play. So while I like the art 1,000 times better, and I think this is the same card here. It's like, look at it. Amazing. This is way better than this one. This is classic. I'm actually more familiar with this. I know what this is by looking at it just really quickly. But this looks 1,000 times better. I'd much rather play with this, but I'm going to play with these because they're not falling apart. They're plastic. They're going to take a lot more wear and tear, and I so play with it. So I'm glad I have this set that I didn't pay that much money for. This plastic set, because I can play the game at least. But I'm just disappointed that I have to use these cards when I have this awesome set with Vincent Du trade art. And this doesn't have rules. This doesn't have anything. Just a box with cards. So it's nice to have everything in this new one. But if it's not going to work appropriately, probably not going to play it. It'll just be something that I look at the art on. And that's a bummer. So those are the components. Let's talk about what we think of the game. All right, so this game is fantastic. I've been playing this ever since I've known Katie, so 17 years. She gave me that, she had that old busted one in her purse. We'd go to restaurants, we'd play it, and play that, and like Love Letter and stuff. And this, not always Love Letter, because I don't know how old it is, but 5-6 years ago we were playing Love Letter. But when we first got together, we were playing Hanafuda. And this game is super fun. The hardest part about this game, honestly, is learning what months go together, like this card. This one's really hard to tell which month it goes with. I mean, if you're looking at them together, you can kind of see that it goes with this month. You can see the tree. They're kind of tying it all together in there. You can see that. But if you don't know that, if you haven't played it a lot, it gets really hard to know which cards go with what. And also the scoring, it's a little bit obtuse. I'll give you that. I mean, it makes sense that papers go together. It makes sense that the papers with writing go together. We called them papers before, so I'll keep calling them papers. They're actually called scrolls. The seeds or the animals, those make sense. But, the brights, which brights can have November, which brights cannot have November. I need these 3 brights and that'll score me points. That can get a little confusing. Again, it's not difficult. And if you have this thing, which this version does, which I'm not going to play because we went over that. But if you have this makes life a little bit easier and helps you understand the game. The game's super simple. It's a match game effectively, but a match game with a little bit of push your luck, but you don't have to play like that. I like to because it's fun. I love push your luck, but it's a simple little game. It's just one of those games you can play conversationally. You can have a conversation while you're playing this game. You can chat with people who are sitting around the table while you're playing this game with somebody else. It's just a game that's fun, passes some time, and this one is gorgeous to look at. So I'm going to give Hanafuda as a game a 7 out of 10 because it's really good and I enjoy it, which is a BGM Accept the Seal. which is a 3.5 out of 5 wrenches on our arbitrary wrench scale. That means absolutely nothing, but we like to give it the games that we enjoy, and that's what I'm going to do. But I would give this pencil first one a 6.5, not quite accepted, because of the production issues, and that makes me sad. I'd probably actually give this one an 8 if the production issues let me play it. So, because of the terrible production problems, it keeps this version from getting a seal, but the game as an overall, which is kind of what I was reviewing here, the game of Hanafuda, gets a 7. I like it. It's a good time, and I'll always play it if you want to. So, that is Hanafuda, this version specifically from Pencil First Games. I'm Jason with the Board Game Mechanics, and as always, keep gaming.